What is going on, everybody? It is Alex coming back at you with another video. And today we're doing round 3 of 4, this mock draft. So if you guys are new, watch the first 2 rounds, then come back. Of course, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, because posting draft content every single day. And as you guys can probably see by the premieres, I'm doing these 7-round mock drafts for certain teams. So drop your team down in the description below, and either it's already up or will be up very soon. So without further ado, let's kick into this. Number 65 with the Jaguars. Of course, we're doing this all live because doing it pre-recorded is boring, right? It's not fun. This is a squad. Honestly, let's look at what we did first, okay? So I'm pretty sure we've gone offensive tackle with Evan Neal, and then we went by Jai Sanders. Honestly, both guys who I like quite a bit. At this point, I might want to continue looking to invest in that offensive line. Jamari Sawyer is a guy who he is probably going to be a left tackle in the NFL, but someone you can move around if you'd like to. Thayer Mumford, he's a veteran presence that you can bring onto that offensive line. He's played left tackle as well, so it could fill in for injury. Just not the best offensive lineman I've seen. So, I mean, there are guys in here. Unfortunately, Voorhees is not in this draft. Otherwise, I'd be drafting him here, which, funnily enough, I was thinking that Broshma was crazy for doing it, but after watching him, definitely worth the pick. Unfortunately, he is no longer with us in this draft. But after doing some consideration, we could also look at Jalen Tolbert here. You could also look at a tight end. You got Likely. So it's up to that for me. Jalen Tolbert is certainly an extremely talented weapon, but I think the value at tight end is a bit better. And I've done this multiple times before with the Jaguars, but I think it's the right move. Again, we could go interior defensive line, though, because there are some really good players here. And I think the defensive end spot is not very good. Majai is going to be that weird hybrid outside linebacker and defensive end hybrid, just, again, his weight as well as his build. I think Perrion Winfrey is actually an excellent addition. I'm looking at teams that will take a tight end. I can only see one. And I'm not 100%. I'd be much more confident with the leftovers of what the Jets do, even if the Jets are, I mean, we don't even know if the Jets are going to be doing it, but I'd much rather get a different tight end than Likely than to have Perrion Winfrey be taken and then have to deal with Travis Jones if we're lucky. Because again, I don't think the Buccaneers have gotten an interior defensive line yet. And that might be a guy who they'd want to bring on board. Of course, they haven't, because this is their pick coming up. 66 with the Lions. This is a team that could take a shot on Desmond Ridder. It is. I don't think that's a bright move. I think the right move would be to go linebacker. Darian Beavers is a guy who can pass rush very well. His instincts in zone coverage, also very good. Not a huge fan of him as an athlete, but this is a perfect spot for him. So I would personally be fully on board with Darian Beavers at this spot. I think that's where I'm going to go. He has that size and he has that veteran presence as well. He's a very solid linebacker overall. There's nothing that's special about him. That it's somebody where on a team that needs a day one impact, you're getting it in the 3rd round. It's a very good thing to do. We're going to treat Henry To'oTo'o as a returner. Okay. I don't believe he's declared for the draft yet. And he's also a true junior. He could definitely come back and probably be a 2nd to 1st round pick if he is able to develop. 67. So this spot, I want to look at secondary, which unfortunately, Tariq Woolen's probably the next guy who I'd be really intrigued with. At this point, Jermaine Waller also in there with Nehemiah Pritchett, all very talented guys. Marcus Jones is a fun one as well. I can see Marcus Jones on this team. However, when there's a guy like Travis Jones that can play next to Vita Vea at that size, I think the value is just a little bit too good. He's a beast on the interior. So we're going to be going Travis Jones right there. Would have been Perrion Winfrey, who's 30 pounds lighter, but still, you want to get something unique when you go for an interior defensive lineman. That's why I have Jordan Davis falling. I honestly don't think the NFL is going to be that high on Jordan Davis. I don't. When you can't play every single snap, the best ability is availability. And if you're only available, 2/3, or maybe a little bit under 2/3 of the game, that's not a very good sign, especially if you're getting winded and having to stop and you're getting just stuffed by linemen when you're not even trying. Just when you can get guys like Travis Jones, who are a unique build, Perrion Winfrey, who is extremely hot and cold, Definitely I need to work. He needs to work on his IQ, but when you see those high level flashes, it's like, holy shit, this guy's special. You want to get these guys who are unique. So personally, I'd be considering taking maybe not Perry on Winfrey or Travis Jones, but definitely of the tier. Where is he at? I mean, I love him so much. I mean, Devontae Wyatt, I'd be taking him over Jordan Davis in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. 68 with the Texans. You could take Desi here just to add someone to your roster. Again, you could go Marcus Jones here. I would not be against that. Wide receiver wise, you could go Jalen Tolbert here. It's up to you. I think offensive line, we've already went offensive tackle here. But again, if you are going to be moving Laramie Tunsil, you might want more than one. And I like how we got Nicholas Petit-Frere here. We could get there Mumford. We could. I'd love to see what my resident Texans fan, Sarah, says down in the description below, or down in the comments below. But we could look at someone like Jalen Petrie here in that same realm as Marcus over here, Marcus Jones. But honestly, you could go running back too. We're going to go Kenneth Walker. He stops falling. Yeah, I thought about taking him earlier too. Just again, with certain value on the board. I don't know, because there's also a lot of really good running backs in this class. Isaiah Spiller, I'm starting to warm up a bit too as well. It's just like, I think that's the right move to push him down. 69 for the Jets. This one should be probably an edge rusher. I mean, it just sucks that Nick Bonito keeps falling because he's such a damn good talent. He just has to be on the right roster. So Boye Mafe might be this pick. I'm a big fan of him, and I have him as a third rounder. You know, he's more of a developmental third, but I know that if he's there at the Seahawks pick, I would very much be inclined to do so. So we're going to get Boye Mafe here. Yeah, I think that's the right move. So Boye Mafe out of Minnesota going to the Jets. He's a pick I've sent to them before, but he's just a very talented, very, very talented. I don't know why I just stuffed on edge rusher. I stared right at it and it just did not come out. But this spot, this is going to be likely. You need a receiving weapon. And I think Isaiah Likely is going to be your best bet. He is a receiving tight end hybrid. And with Dan Arnold on the squad, Likely will be an excellent pairing to that. Number 71, Washington. So we missed out on Dax Hill last time, but we can't miss out this time. Jalen Petrie is an excellent slot corner safety. Somebody who can play free, someone who can play slot. I think that is the exact fit. So we're going to get Jalen Petrie here out of Baylor. Good move for the team. So 72 for the Seahawks. Unfortunately, this will be modified next week because after the video was made and posted, apparently Russell Wilson wants to get an extended deal in Seattle. I do not get that at all. I really don't. But you do you. Honestly, you do you. At this point, you try to look at the guys who could play offensive tackle. Daniel Faalele might be your best bet. You know, you could rock with somebody on the interior of the offensive line. Jamari Sawyer actually comes to mind as someone who could play that left tackle spot. And you know what? We're going to take him there. Jamari Sawyer is going to play their true left tackle. I think that he's going to get a lot of hype from being able to play well enough against Will Anderson, David Ojabo, and Aidan Hutchinson. So, yeah, I think that's a pretty solid spot for him. 73 with the Bears. I think this is a great spot. We could get Faalele here. I know that there's been I literally just I had his name in my mind, but we've had a pretty damn good contributor at right tackle. But I don't think that rules out getting a developmental tackle like Faalele. I have him as a third to fourth. And I think you just go with third because, again, just the value is there. You could honestly put him to interior offensive line because, again, you do have James Daniels who will probably want a big-ass contract. And I don't know if he wants to do that with the Bears. So Daniel Faalele fits exactly what the Bears are looking for. Again, a very solid tackle, just has a lot of work to do. You know, he has, I mean, it's going to be Jordan Mailata 2.0, right? This guy is almost 400 pounds, though. He's ridiculous. So having him there, being able to use him in like a fullback dive, doing your little refrigerator parry thing would be pretty entertaining as well. Just the value of an offensive lineman at this spot of his caliber, I have him above, I think, everybody else in this entire draft. So getting the next best offensive tackle is probably the best thing you can do for your roster. And I'm confirming, yeah, he's the best offensive lineman I have left. So that's a good spot for him. 74 with the Vikings. So this is a spot where I would be considering edge, like a freaky big edge, like Cameron Thomas here, 270 pounds. So I think that's probably where I'm going to go in all actuality. We could, again, go strong safety. I just don't think, I mean, Nick Cross is probably the dude who might come to mind. And honestly, I think he'd be a fun addition to this team. Let's go Nick Cross out of Maryland. He is a really freaky safety athletically. Definitely somebody who I need to watch a little more in depth, but from the tape I've seen of Maryland, he does pop off. So he's probably going to be one of my postseason risers, and I'll be making a list on that in a video coming up in the near future. Of course, not that near because it's going to be a postseason riser than anything, but 75 for the Browns. This could be a good spot to bolster the front as well with a guy like Phidarian Mathis or Zachary Carter, even though I think Zach Carter can play on the outside. I think Phidarian Mathis's presence as a veteran would be a very good impact to Jordan Elliott, and that is going to be where the cookie crumbles and he falls here. Unfortunately, he probably would have went at this next pick, so that kind of sucks. But I think this is a good spot for a running back, either Isaiah Spiller, Zach Charbonnet. Zach Charbonnet might be the best back for this team because if you're looking for someone to be in that RBBC role, that's probably the best bet that you have. And he's a very, very good power back. He can catch out of the backfield. I think he could develop into a 3-down back the way he was in high school. I think his limited role at UCLA and the poor play at Michigan probably puts him into this category for the time being. Number 77. So I'm pretty sure we got Dax Hill. So unfortunately, Marcus Jones is not going to be the best option for the squad. Linebacker, they traded for Kenny Young. So cheers. We could look at Abraham Lucas here or Jackson Kirkland. So Jackson Kirkland he has a lot of issues, but there's a lot to like about him as well. He's a very hit or miss offensive lineman. And this year he's a bit more missed because he played left tackle, but I'm looking at him for when he was a right guard. He was an absolutely phenomenal player. Like I had him as a 2nd-round guard, and I don't like putting guards that high unless they're really physically dominant. Jackson Kirkland could play right tackle at a very high level. And given, I believe we got Malik Willis in the first. So I think his best play was on the move. This might be the best spot for it. I think the value, again, you miss on him. You're going to have to go after like Andrew Stuber or Rasheed Walker. Not great because I think Abraham Lucas could be going within one of these next few picks. Even this one, I want to see where the Ravens went at offensive line because I kind of forgot where they went because they went Darian Kennard. Someone who could play guard or tackle. I think he's a right tackle only personally. So I honestly am pretty happy with that because Zachary Carter plays perfectly into what they're looking for. They lack 3-4 defensive ends. And I mean, you're competing with Derek Wolfe. So I think Zach Carter's a really damn good fit. I love him on the Baltimore Ravens. I hate it because I think he'll do well as a Steelers fan. I hate it, but I think this is the right spot for him. 79 with the Giants. I think we need to continue boosting this offensive line. Thayer Mumford could also fill in at tackle for when shit hits the fan and injuries happen. So I think that versatility certainly is warranted of this pick. Number 80 with the Texans. So again, this could be Desi. I just don't think Desmond Ridder is good. I don't. This is probably the spot where he'll go around. I think people are hyper overrating him at this point, and they're just trying to ride their original opinions, which is just stupid. Like, get off your high horse. You know, it's okay to be wrong. And I'm proud to say that I was wrong before the semifinals, but when I actually did my tape dive, he just did not look good. Did not look good at all. We could definitely get Jalen Tolbert here. I wouldn't be against that. We already did just go running back for this team. You know, if Nick Cross were still here, I would consider taking him. I'm considering Verone McKinley is returning as well, and Tyke Smith already said he's returning. And if you guys know any of these dudes who returned, of course, please let me know down in the comments section below, because obviously I try my best, but some things leak through the cracks. But I think a guy like Tariq Woolen would be a very intriguing prospect for this squad. 6'4", really athletic. Not again, not the best day one impact, but for a team like this that needs some development, you're going to want to take the guy with the highest ceiling. And Tariq Woolen might be up there. Again, I like to put Jermaine Waller and Nehemiah Pritchett into this category as well. But you look at Tariq Woolen, look at that. He's 6'4", over 200 pounds. I think it's just kind of too fun to pass up on. So that's what we're going to be doing. Steelers, we got Kenyon Green, as well as, I believe, did we get Kyler Gordon for the squad as well? We got Trey McDuffie. That hurts. I wish we had Kyler Gordon. I'm pretty sure he went way earlier. He did. So, yeah, Trent McDuffie as well as Kenyon Green. We're doing pretty well so far. This could be a spot that we do look at a center as well to boost the roster. I'm looking at Jarrett Patterson right here. But, I mean, you guys were right. Interior defensive line play hasn't been good. But unfortunately, not a huge fan of the guys who we have on the board right now. Linebacker, not really vibing with it either, guys. We could go Jalen Tolbert here. We could. Again, you're looking at Washington wanting to be traded. Chase Claypool is Chase. As long as he doesn't do some stupid shit, then he'll be fine. Juju is up for a contract, and I honestly wouldn't pay him. I wouldn't. He's a great kid, but my honest opinion is we need to use that cap elsewhere. And that is also called bolstering the defense. This is going to be the spot where I see Desi going. He's a guy who is not very accurate. You look at Ben. Ben had a crazy cannon that was inaccurate. He's very mobile. He's a hell of a lot better than what the Steelers already have. And I'm not a fan of Desmond Ridder at all. So having him go to the Steelers is a little bit weird, but in the third round, I can kind of console myself on it. 82 with the Raiders. This is a team that can honestly use interior offensive line as well, but we're not going to be going that route. When you got a guy like Jalen Tolbert who can burn downfield, I think he's going to be a very fun option for this squad. Jalen Tolbert out of South Alabama, going in to try to do what Henry Ruggs couldn't do. 83 for the Colts. So I think this has to be a corner pick. Has to be. You got some really good options on the board. Nehemiah Pritchett, Jermaine Waller. I'm going to go Pritchett. I think his scheme fits a little bit better with what the Colts are going to be looking for. But again, cannot complain about many of these guys. 84 with the Niners. This should be an edge player. It should. I'm trying to make sure that there's nobody who's slipping through the cracks here. There's not. This is going to be an interesting spot for me because Nick Bonitto's still on the board. For a team, I think the Chargers are probably going to pick him up. If they haven't, I know they picked an edge player, but who'd they pick up? They picked up DeMarvin Leal. That's perfect. Damn, that's perfect. I think this could be a good spot for a guy like Cam Thomas. Again, a really freaky sized edge rusher. The problem is you kind of want a guy who can actually impact from snap to snap, right? I don't think Cam Thomas is that guy. Again, it's been a pain in the ass to find tape on him. So I will say I might be wrong. But I'm not a fan of Logan Hall at all. Foskey I have as a fourth, but in the right scheme, the Patriots or the Ravens, I could see him definitely fitting. Nick Bonitto, scheme dependent. So this could be the best option you have. That being said, we could go another DB. That's just not normal. We're going to go Cam Thomas here because the hype has to mean something, right? It has to mean something. If he's in Todd McShay's top 32, there's something there. From when I watched, he had some flashes, but it wasn't really spectacular. This is a good spot to take someone who is a little bit up in the air in terms of his reputation. 85 for the Chiefs. So this would have been a great spot for Jalen Tolbert. It would have been. He's no longer on the board. Romeo Doubs would be certainly intriguing. I think that would be somebody who would honestly fit really well. I don't know why he's being hyper underrated at this point. It's just kind of stupid. But I think he fits exactly what you're looking for. He's my next wide receiver on the board. So getting Romeo Doubs out of Nevada, far from a bad thing to do. Leaving Nick Bonitto on the board, ridiculous steal here. He's an excellent player for the Chargers. Just good fit. I love it overall. 87 for the Patriots. I think that this should be Foskey. Getting continual edge presence wouldn't be a bad thing. Wide receiver one certainly is an issue. They're just not a wide receiver one anymore. I don't like really any of these guys. Anaya Smith's a fun one, but I'm not looking for a fun player. I'm looking for an impact player. And I think that Maybe safety wouldn't be a bad way to go. And just again, not really a huge fan of the safety room at this point. Like, I'm trying to think back to when I did the Patriots mock, which is already up, what I did. And I mean, to be honest, the Patriots have such good depth everywhere. We already went linebacker. I know we went, I think, Jordan Battle as well for that team. It wouldn't be a bad idea to take a high-end linebacker edge hybrid like Foskey. I think he declared. That's the weird thing. I'm not sure. But even if he didn't declare, I would probably still go with somebody like maybe O'Shawn Mathis for this team. It's a weird spot. You know what? You do need a running back, but not a normal running back because you guys are solid there. A scat back. I think James Cook out of Georgia is going to be a perfect James White replacement. And you're also kind of stealing him from the Cardinals here. He's just a very solid back overall, and I do really like him. So take James Cook, and I just love him to death. Number 88 with the Cards. I think this should be Breece Hall. Personally, I do. He's just an all-around back that you can fit into a receiving role. You can fit into a regular heavy back role. He's just a 3-down back that could do it all. And I don't think James Conner or Chase Edmonds are on the special tier that would replace a guy like Breece. Again, it's the 3rd round. You start taking these shots at running back. 89, this could be even Isaiah Spiller. We could have 3 running backs back to back to back. But cornerback 2 is a big issue for this team. It's a big issue. Jermaine Waller out of Virginia Tech, certainly going to be a guy who I'm going to be targeting for the squad. Big need, and we're going to be filling it right there. Bengals, they do need offensive line. They do. And a right tackle is certainly a position that I would love to address with a veteran like Abraham Lucas. So that's the best value I could have imagined in the 3rd round. So cheers to the Bengals for capitalizing on that. Cowboys, you guys are sitting here, and honestly, a Nye Smith would be fun. I know I've done a Nye Smith to this team before, and you've already seen what happens with Tony Pollard as a really good situational back. I think he could be very similar. So a Nye Smith as a wide receiver and running back hybrid at Texas A&M, very close to the Dallas Cowboys. And I think that will be a very big impact on their offense now that Michael Gallup is going to be gone. 92 for the Buccaneers. So this is probably going to be best player available. We could have some trades as well in here. I don't really see much of a reason to trade. I don't. Like, there's a lot of Marcus Jones could be fun. He's a very good corner. The only issue is his size. He's 5'8". But Mikael Wright's also in here. I'm going to take Mikael, really good man corner. I think he would be a solid fit with what the Buccaneers are looking for. And he's getting hyper underrated at this point. I do like Mikael. Just, you got to figure the right role for him. At this point, you can use Marcus Jones in the slot. You can use him as a safety if you want to. Daniel Sorensen is not going to stop me from taking Marcus Jones. He's a really good corner too. I do like him. It's a very good corner class. 94 back with the Broncos. This could be a linebacker. It could be. We could see a team move up though, because there are some solid ass tight ends on the board. There are. And there's also a team that's going to be taking one of those tight ends next. So let's see if there is a team that could use a tight end in the meantime. I'm pretty sure we already got Likely for the Jaguars, and because I did talk about that 1-2 punch with Arnold. I would say the Panthers should probably move up in this position. They do need offensive line, but the offensive line's gone at this point. I hate to say it. Leticia Smith's solid, but I don't have him until 4th. But of course, we do have a 4th round going to be coming. So let's make sure not to sacrifice too much there. I just don't think the value is here for the Broncos, and I think it is here for a team like the Panthers. So we're going to move up with the Panthers. Screw it. So Panthers are going to be moving up into this spot with the Broncos. And I mean, they've done trades before. It's not out of the question. So we're going to see if we can fulfill that 6th round void right there. And I think that's honestly fair. You know, we're moving back a little bit just to be able to secure this. So 94, it was, I think 11 spots for a 6th round pick. Totally worth it for both teams, in my opinion. I think tight end certainly should be something you do target when there's nothing else on the board. Jalen Weidermeyer is a full all-around tight end that you can use for any role on this team. I mean, without offensive line on the board, you just need no excuses. Again, don't reach for a position that doesn't have value for your roster because, again, left tackle, I think, is the biggest issue. This is going to be Jeremy Ruckert. This is honestly, you got Miller Forrestall. He's basically Miller Forrestall on steroids. I don't think he's even on the roster anymore, which is funny, but like, obviously that's been something that you guys look at. This could be even a tight end here as well for the Packers, though. It could be. I want to look at these 3-4 defensive ends. See if I'm wondering where do we take Josh Pascal? That's something that popped across my mind because I do like Josh Pascal. Oh, ooh, for the Cards. Damn. Okay. Damn. Okay. Let me see. Where did I thought the Cardinals drafted this round as well. They did. They took Breece Hall. Was that after or before we took Nick Bonito? It was after. Okay. Whew. I feel a lot better because I would have taken Nick Bonito to you guys. I was like, ooh, this is gonna be a tough one. Oh man, this is a weird spot. This is a weird spot because I honestly should take a wide receiver for this team like Justin Ross and just see what the hell happens because the team desperately needs extra help at the wide receiver room. We could again go after tight end here, and it wouldn't be out of the question. Again, we could go for someone like Logan Hall to be on the inside, and he does play interior. I think the hype's going to stop here. The hype fall is going to stop here. Logan Hall out of Houston is going to be able to play on the inside next to Kenny Clark. Don't know why they have him listed as an edge because he is not an edge. He plays on the inside. 97 with the good old Leones. I think this would be a good spot to continue bolstering your secondary. It's not a big issue, so don't get on me for that. It just wouldn't be a bad idea to continue helping it out. Again, you could get some more tight end help to have with TJ Hawkinson if you want to get the best value at receiver. I think Sam Laporta is the next guy who I would take. I really like Sam Laporta. So he's going to be definitely someone who goes in these rounds. Greg Dulcich as well. Very solid tight ends. This draft's great for tight ends. So cheers to that. We could get a running back because again, you look at it and Williams is on a 2-year contract. So you could, of course, get somebody else in there. And it's already been proven it's just a big impact for even little known running backs on this offense. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. I think this will probably we could go offensive line here. We could. I think that actually going with a guard wouldn't be a bad idea. Ed Ingram out of LSU is more of just a mean ass dude, and he might help in the run game quite a bit. So let's take him, see how he does. Let's see how he fares in this offense. 98 with the Saints. I think this could be, this is a team that doesn't really need much. It's not. So I'm probably actually looking to trade out of this spot. You could get Rasheed Walker because I know I'm forgetting his actual name. Teron Armstead. I know his last name, but his first name. I think it's Teron. He is a free agent. So getting somebody like Rasheed to be able to learn beneath him, if you franchise tag him, which I think is a smart move, wouldn't be a bad idea. Get Rasheed Walker as a swing tackle. At this spot, we should be trading back. There's some excellent tight ends. Isaiah Spiller, I've been watching him. He's improved leaps and bounds this year. So a team should be taking him as well. Honestly, that team should be the Dolphins and probably will be. So I'm going to actually have the Dolphins move up one quick little spot here. Like whoop-de-doo, right? Nothing crazy. So we're going to have them trade up with the Saints, see what pick we can do. We can see if we could swap sevens. What the hell? Watch this. Okay, I just want to see. So is it likely for a 6th round pick? This is some BS. We're going to actually, this is my little hack here. We're going to flip it. We're going to flip it to see what the right value is for this because the Saints are just absolute bullshit when it comes to this. So we're going to have that, and we're going to see if the flip is worth it. So look at that. So if they offered those picks, it would be unfair. So yeah, that's ridiculous. So we're honestly going to just offer a next year 7. It says very unlikely. That is insane. So that one's likely. That doesn't make any sense. We'll still send it through. We'll see what happens. The trade simulator is just some crazy BS. But Isaiah Spiller out of Texas A&M is a perfect guy for this squad. Can play as an RBBC back if you really want him to. It's probably why he falls here is because he's a 3-down back. But he's a guy who's proven quite a bit to me. Doesn't have that breakaway speed that I really want from a running back, but for this role, the Malcolm Brown role, one hell of a good fit. And now I think this would be another good spot to move back with so many great tight ends on the board. We could see, I mean, even the Dolphins could have gotten tight end at that spot too. But I'm seeing the Jets here as a very good trade candidate. Let's pray that the Saints are not complete jackasses in this trade. So for that, we'll offer a fit. Oh, look at that. This is some bullshit. I cannot stand this. We're going to reverse trade again, guys. We're going to do it. Quick little reverse trade. Get this done with. You know, there's no reason for them to be that much of a jackass. And we'll offer this fifth, and then we're going to, well, actually, we'll offer a next year fifth. We'll do next year sixth. That makes sense. I mean, it's a short range trade, and that's the equivalent of a seventh this year. So we're going to be going tight end here. I think Sam Laporta or Greg Dulcich are the next guys on the board. Sam Laporta is a true junior, so I really do like him. So that's where we're going to take him. 101 with the Rams. You know, unfortunately, Kellen Dyche is the next guy who's on the board. But I like linebacker and corner are just huge needs as well. Huge needs. And I mean, Leo Chenal is a guy who's both young, developmental, and extremely talented. So we're going to go Leo Chenal here for the Rams. He did declare. So that's somebody I do know who has officially declared for the draft. 102 for the Ravens. You know, this is we're gonna rock a corner here. We're gonna rock corner depth. Mario Goodrich is somebody who's on my board. Very talented. Riley Moss doesn't fit with what I imagine the Ravens would want. So we're going to go Mario Goodrich here out of Clemson. You know, he is a talented corner. So he's going to go to finish off the third round. So thank you guys so much for watching. One, thank you guys, of course, for always supporting the channel as well. Over 3,000 subs has been absolutely awesome. Thank you guys so much. See you guys on the far side. Peace.